Ex-vegans, why did you start eating meat again? My aunt was a vegetarian for health reasons. The day she got diagnosed with cancer she went to in and out. I was vegan for a year when I lived in a big city that had lots of inexpensive options for what one could eat. When I moved to a small town in beef country, the cost of good produce quadrupled, as did the cost of meat substitutes. I quickly learned that if I didn't eat whatever I could get my hands on, I would starve, so I started eating meat again. Some people say food deserts aren't real. They are.
Got a genetic illness which makes me permanently anemic. My body only absorbs a tiny amount of iron from food and that amount is burned pretty fast. Turns out it doesn't help to cut that tiny amount as well. Also, I didn't replace the meat, I just left it out, so I basically ate less food. Edit. The genetic mutation I have is called thalassemia, specific type, thalassemia beta intermedia. It's pretty common especially in Mediterranean people. Usually only severe cases are properly diagnosed since you can't really do more than iron infusions, blood transfusions, etc. I was traveling in Africa, and stayed in a small village off the beaten track. I had just arrived, and as the matriarch of my host family was showing me to my room, and helping me get settled in, her boys were out back slaughtering a goat for me. I couldn't turn down the meal, because that goat represented a substantial part of the family's assets. The whole experience made me realize that the social constructs around sharing food are far more important to me than what the food is. If someone is serving it, I will eat it with gratitude.
I'm still as veggie as possible, but I moved to a country where it is 10,000% harder to be vegan, Japan. This is mostly due to not knowing a ton of Japanese and the fact that there is fish or meat in so many restaurant foods, and the culture here isn't like in America where you can ask for items to be removed or substitutions. Not that my Japanese ability would allow me to do that anyway. I was vegan for 3 years and had gone home to my community, which is tremendously poor. To have cold cuts and a bag of Doritos is a luxury. My aunt, who was going blind, made a family feast and everyone came, and she made a very traditional lamb stew. My heart broke when I thought of how much of her income she must have spent to make this possible, and felt like a completely entitled outsider when I told them I was vegan. They couldn't comprehend, when food is so hard to come by, why anyone would choose to not eat any protein available to keep from being hungry. Being vegan comes from a first world position of entitlement. It is a luxury to choose what you eat, when so many eat whatever is available, not out of an ethical decision, but out of necessity.
I lost a lot of weight, to the point that people asked if I was okay. I was tired and had low energy. I ended up being anemic. I slowly ended up getting to a point that I started eating meat again. Hair loss and health issues got worse. I'm fine now. I was vegan for a year due to wanting to eat clean, and it backfired.
Fairly stupid reason, because I broke up with my ex. I became a vegan to support her, and it felt weird eating meat while she was so against it. When the relation was over, however, I no longer felt the need to support my ex in that way. Thus meat was back on the menu, boys.
Not me, but my brother-in-law went vegan for a stretch. One of his pet causes is donating blood. As soon as he's able to, he's down at the blood clinic donating again. Anyway, on a vegan diet, his blood iron levels got too low to donate blood, so it was back to meat for him. But his daughter, my niece, is still vegan, and it's driving them nuts, because she'll only eat those vegan chicken nuggets, and they're getting pricey. Not vegan but vegetarian. I was vegetarian for a good 4 years. Once I hit the 4-year mark, energy was at an all-time low. My whole body felt weak. And the kicker, I had very frequent nosebleeds. It was so often I was used to it for a while. Eventually the nosebleeds came to be too much, and I started eating meat again. Then the nosebleeds stopped altogether. I haven't had a single nosebleed thus far. Mind you, I quit being vegetarian 2 years ago.
Laughs in Inuit.
I'm a vegan, but I'm on my annual cheat year. I wanted to see if it made me sick. I've since eaten it here and there, but it's not often. I was vegan, food and otherwise, for near a decade. I'm planning on going back because I can honestly say that I've not been missing out. It's possible to veganize about anything these days. Oh, also, no, it didn't make me sick at all. Not ex-vegan, but ex-vegetarian. I was a vegetarian back in 2011 to 2013 as I found myself eating a mostly plant-based diet with small amounts of fish or chicken. Was never a huge fan of red meat. I was warned by my doctor in 2012 that my protein levels were too low, so I increased my eggs, nuts, beans, and grains. Still wasn't enough though. Ended up being hospitalized in March of 2013 due to my blood pressure dropping way low, as well as my iron levels. Decided to slowly incorporate meat back into my diet, which ended up helping almost every aspect of my health. My nails were stronger, my hair grew faster, looked healthier, and I was better able to maintain muscle mass without struggling to actively keep up my protein levels. I still don't eat a ton of red meat, but man, do I love a good, juicy steak on the occasion. I truly believe eating meat again saved my life. Kudos to those who were able to live a vegan, vegetarian lifestyle. But based on my experience, it's not for everyone. I went from fat to extremely skinny and I hadn't strength. I wanted to have bigger muscles. So I started eating protein from veggies. It wasn't enough. I needed a lot per day to increase my muscles. So I started eating 2 eggs every day. And now, I eat 200 grams of meat 2 days a week just for easy protein. I still eat fruits and vegetables every day. I love it. The eggs and meat are just because I want muscles, lol. I was a vegetarian for like 17 years. I'm super anemic now and started eating chicken again last year. I still have a heavy vegetarian diet most days and don't eat a lot of chicken. But my anemia isn't as bad as it was. I have some guilt about it still. But I'm not damn near passing out every day anymore. I was also really bad at substituting for this diet since I was so young when I stopped meat and options weren't available like they are now. I didn't know about soy and estrogen and developed ovarian cysts that went away in 3 months from now. More soy too. Fun times. Still veggie. I moved country and it was hard to eat anything but homemade. No takeaway. Only restaurants were vegan only, which our friends and family didn't want to eat it. We ended up choosing to eat and cook vegan at home but not when out with others. Been back in England 6 months. And no longer with my partner. But I still follow the same rule. Makes it easier to go out with friends, work, new people. Feel less guilty if I see something I want to try that has milk or egg in it. Makes it easier when I visit my parents especially. I am 100% healthier since going vegan. Though it does take more work to make sure I'm getting everything I need. So no issues with health. It's all down to convenience to others. And the occasional craving of something that contains dairy. I have other dietary concerns that take precedence over a moral prerogative, including several allergies that severely limit my diet. I can eat meat, so I do. I also aim for sustainable veganism, which means I don't limit myself with an unreasonable hardline stance like some do. If I go out for the sake of the rare social outing and my options are limited, I'll have the meat option. Simply reducing your meat intake is almost as good as cutting it, and I'm contributing to deforestation with my soy consumption anyway. Sustainable, in this case, simply means you're less likely to break and abandon the diet altogether by not giving yourself a simple pass-fail mentality. When I had a work-from-home job, preparing and cooking was a lot easier. had a job change. It was far more active and I no longer worked at home. I wasn't able to eat at work. And I didn't have time to prep and cook like I used to. Started getting fainting spells, feeling lethargic, and overall shitty.